Let's be real, the Xbox One hasn't had as diverse of a library as the PlayStation 4 has. Its top games are mostly sequels in established franchises, and there's a distinct lack of exclusives as we get deeper into the console's lifecycle. Nevertheless, the Xbox One provides a library of great titles for fans of racing games, shooters, and the odd compilation from Rare. So let's take a look at the top 30 Xbox One games of all time. A Walk in the Dark. An unorthodox aesthetic and dark atmosphere make up A Walk in the Dark. It's an unusual game that sees you playing as a cat in a strange world, navigating past obstacles and fighting off the darkness. Even if it's not a well-polished platformer, A Walk in the Dark's responsive controls and decent mechanics make for an interesting experience. ReCore. Considering the talent behind it, such as Keiji Inafune and Joseph Staten, ReCore should have been a better game. For what it's worth though, it did fill the niche of a 3D action platforming Mega Man spin-off decently enough though. The world's aesthetic combined with the intriguing color matching of the shooting helped it stand out. If you must play it, the definitive edition is definitely the way to go since it offers better performance, a larger world, and more story missions. Max, The Curse of Brotherhood. The Xbox One isn't the best platform for character-driven platformers. Max, The Curse of Brotherhood from Press Play is a good exception though, combining thoughtful puzzle design with good environments for a fun experience. It also doesn't hurt that the protagonist Max is generally likable. The overall experience ranks from above average to good overall. IDARB. Nearly 4 years later, we're still at a loss when it comes to describing IDARB. Think of it as a platforming sports title with 4v4 matches where players can use hash bombs over Twitch or Twitter to alter the gameplay, and that's just scratching the surface. With tons of characters, teams, and options, IDARB promises a fast-paced sporting experience unlike any other. Just don't worry if you don't know what's going on. State of Decay 2. The zombie survival horror genre will never die. However, to State of Decay 2's credit, it has more resource and base management mechanics to it than any other zombie titles. Though it's not a huge leap forward from the first game, State of Decay 2 does offer 3 massive maps to occupy and explore, a wide range of interesting characters, and some decent combat. Plus, there's just something cool about venturing into the great unknown by yourself, scavenging supplies and trying to survive against hordes of the undead. Super Lucky's Tale. When you think video game mascots, Lucky the Fox isn't the first to come to mind, much less the 10th. Super Lucky's Tale does offer a responsive experience with suitably whimsical visuals though. Just ignore the camera controls, appreciate the funny bosses, and enjoy the story for what it is. It's that easy. Sea of Thieves. Not launching in the best state seems to be a common theme this generation. That being said, Sea of Thieves improved dramatically in a very short period of time. As Rare added more onto the game, including timed story events, new cosmetics, and new areas to explore, Sea of Thieves became more fun to engage with, especially with friends. From the Hungering Deep to Forsaken Shores, and with the new competitive PvP mode on the way, this shared world title is more seaworthy than ever. Project Spark. Microsoft's game creation suite Project Spark didn't last very long. It released in October 2014 and shut down in August 2016, though it's still playable offline. However, it featured a very powerful set of tools to create entire games, animating different characters and crafting stories with ease. The sheer range of options, coupled with experiencing other players' creations, does smack of Little Big Planet. However, Project Spark offered a strong sense of scale, while allowing players to customize every little bit of the experience available to their liking. D4. Dark Dreams Don't Die. Access Games' D4 Dark Dreams Don't Die, directed by Hidetaka Suhiro, aka Swery65, is as weird as single-player adventures can be. None of this is news for Deadly Premonition veterans, but with the cel-shaded style, Kinect motion controls, and time-traveling investigations, D4 is a special kind of weird. Temper your expectations and check it out, if you dare. Dungeon of the Endless. Is it a tower defense game? Is it a dungeon crawler? Is it an RPG? A turn-based tactical squad game? A roguelite? You're no doubt maddeningly wondering at this point. Amplitude Studios' Dungeon of the Endless is actually all of the above, seamlessly blending genres into a potpourri of awesome. Whether it's upgrading your squad, discovering new team members, surviving against waves of deadly creatures, prioritizing dust management and room activation, well, Dungeon of the Endless has a bit in store and then some. Halo Wars 2. The Halo Wars series has always been one that you either get into or you don't, simply because it omits many of the complexities of real-time strategy titles. Still, despite the relatively short campaign, Halo Wars 2 continued the story of the Spirit of Fire while serving up some memorable moments for Halo fans. It also didn't hurt that multiplayer was fairly good, ranging from the card battling of Blitz to the chaos of Firefight. Quantum Break. Remedy Entertainment's long-in-development third-person shooter looked to unite television entertainment and video game storytelling. To its credit, it's probably the best example of the same, and Quantum Break still offered a compelling story with decent combat mechanics, and some drop-dead gorgeous visuals on top of that. Plus, who doesn't love time manipulation powers? Even if the controls weren't the best, Remedy's brand of action and storytelling made for a memorable experience. Halo: The Master Chief Collection. With arguably the worst launch year of any game in recent memory, Halo: The Master Chief Collection has bounced back quite well. Thanks to recent tests by 343 Industries, the game is in a much better state now than ever. If you're a Halo fan or just an FPS fan in general, the Master Chief Collection presents an awesome deal with the first 4 Halo games available to play, including Halo CE Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary. And that doesn't even include the copious amounts of multiplayer content. Forza Motorsport 5. As the first Forza title to release for the Xbox One, expectations were fairly high for Forza Motorsport 5, and while the overall content was substantially less than its predecessor, the game still offered a finesse and overall grade to the genre that couldn't be found anywhere else. The gorgeous visuals of the franchise were on another level this time around, while the inclusion of open-wheel cars, the customizable Drivatar AI, and commentary from the 2002 Top Gear crew offered enough to sink your teeth into. Path of Exile. This free-to-play RPG from Grinding Gear Games only recently came to the Xbox One, but the developer's support has been stellar all around. From the free expansions, items, skills, and features to consistent support, Path of Exile has offered arguably the best action RPG experience in recent times. The best part is that the game is complex enough while offering satisfying combat. Well, unless your build is terrible, that is, and you need to reroll a new character. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. The Coalition's first Gears title was a remake of the original Gears of War. Dom's AI was still terrible, and some mechanics felt old, but Gears of War Ultimate Edition still offered one of the best shooter campaigns in history. Coupled with gorgeous graphics, 5 chapters previously exclusive to the PC version, and the same shotgun-heavy multiplayer, the remake offered enough to keep us busy until the inevitable sequel. Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 isn't perfect. However, as a base for stories to come, introducing us to new characters and old, it was the right sequel at the right time. JD Phoenix is a worthwhile successor to Marcus, who had his fair share of screen time as well, and the campaign offered an eloquent mix of vehicle sections, cover shooting, and drama. Horde mode wasn't as enthralling as Gears of War 3, and multiplayer was still kinda broken meta-wise, but Gears of War 4 is still a strong package with stellar production value. Halo 5 Guardians. To say that 343 Industries' Halo 5 Guardians was disappointing from a storytelling standpoint would be understandable. Gameplay-wise, however, it was pretty good, and thankfully, an inordinate amount of resources were poured into multiplayer. The movement and mechanics felt like a good balance between old and new school Halo. New maps and features came regularly, and matches on the whole felt pretty balanced. In terms of multiplayer gaming, Halo 5 certainly has its upsides, even after all these years. Killer Instinct. With so many different studios having worked on this game under co-creator Ken Lobb's supervision, you might think Killer Instinct would be a mess. On the contrary, it's one of the best contemporary fighting games available. Along with the return of lengthy combos and the beloved Combo Breaker, Killer Instinct implements some fun new features like Shadow Lab for creating shadows of yourself to fight against, Instinct Mode for unique fighter enhancements, and much more. With numerous fighters, including guest characters from Battletoads, Gears of War, and Halo, Killer Instinct is worth checking out. Rare Replay. What's better than a compilation of Rare's classics? How about a compilation of 30 games from the developer's vaunted library? Classics like Blast Corps, Killer Instinct Gold, Battletoads Arcade, RC Pro-Am, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Jet Force Gemini, Banjo-Kazooie, and so much more stood alongside each other in picture-perfect ports. Rare Replay also added snapshots, smaller portions from the games that offered interesting challenges, which would bestow stamps. Collect enough stamps and you can unlock Rare Revealed. This provided more than an hour of behind-the-scenes footage of top-tier titles, along with some unreleased games. Whether you're a Rare fan or a gaming connoisseur, Rare Replay is for you. Sunset Overdrive. It's really hard to escape the name Sunset Overdrive these days, what with the PC release and the success of Insomniac's Spider-Man. For all intents and purposes though, Sunset Overdrive is very much its own game, embodying the collectathon trope of open-world design, but adding numerous challenges, fun side quests, awesome weapons, fluid movement, and lovable characters. Even if it wasn't a huge success, Sunset Overdrive still stands out for its mix of traversal and combat. Forza Horizon 2. Forza Horizon began as a concept to bring the series into the open world environment. Forza Horizon 2 built upon that, taking the genre to new heights and proving that arcade action was possible within the Forza franchise. Set in southern France and northern Italy, Forza Horizon 2 introduced the bucket list, a set of challenges the players could complete. The open world itself was immaculately designed with numerous events and challenges to keep players busy for dozens of hours on end. It also didn't hurt that Forza Horizon 2 brought dynamic weather and a day-night cycle to the franchise for the very first time. Cuphead. Say what you will about the Xbox One's lineup of exclusives in the last year, but we did get Studio MDHR's stellar Cuphead. This platformer paid tribute to old-timey cartoons while implementing retro action gameplay that's amazingly addictive. Though the run-and-gun battles are fun, the boss battles are the real highlight, offering an excellent range of personality, variety, and challenge. Titanfall. Its sequel may have garnered more acclaim for its campaign, but the original Titanfall was arguably a more intense multiplayer experience. Using enhanced mobility like wall runs that felt fluid and natural was already cool enough, but combine that with the giant mechs called Titans that could be entered on the fly and you had the formula for mech-on-mech skirmishes, pilot versus Titan scenarios reminiscent of David versus Goliath, and so much more. It also didn't hurt that the map design was far better than in Titanfall 2. Forza Motorsport 6. You might think of features like weather effects and night racing as relatively simple additions to a racing title. However, when they were introduced to the Forza Motorsport series with Forza Motorsport 6, they provided heaps of challenges for seasoned players to master. That's not even including the sheer range of championships, gorgeous graphics, realistic representations of over 450 cars, and much more. The Forza Motorsport series can be hard to top, and Forza Motorsport 6 was just another awesomely crafted reason why. It also helped the franchise bounce back after its somewhat underwhelming predecessor. Minecraft Xbox One Edition. Minecraft's gameplay is more or less the same across numerous platforms, though there are significant differences in the different add-ons available. Regardless if you're playing on Xbox One, taking advantage of the massive worlds and increased player limits compared to previous gen platforms, then you also get features like crossplay with other platforms. Besides everything else, it's Minecraft. The sheer range of content and things to do is insane enough as it is. Forza Motorsport 7. Spellbindingly realistic graphics, true-to-life car handling, an amazing constructed campaign that had you racing across a strata of different cars. Forza Motorsport 7 is the complete racing package for anyone who wants a realistic sim. Along with the same highly customizable experience, Forza Motorsport 7 adds dynamic weather during races to help shake up the action. It's a small but nuanced addition, one that makes mastering the over 700 cars and 200 different track configurations all the more worthwhile. Ori and the Blind Forest. One of the best Metroidvania games out there, Moon Studios' Ori and the Blind Forest is simply a triumph in terms of art direction, storytelling, and platforming. The responsive controls coupled with the right amount of challenge made for incredibly fun gameplay, even as the tale of Ori, Naru, and the Forest of Nibel tugged at our heartstrings. The definitive edition is also worth checking out because it adds even more areas and mechanics along with fast travel and more difficulty options. Forza Horizon 3. Racing purists may appreciate the Forza Motorsport series for its realism. However, Forza Horizon 3 upped the ante significantly for its series, not just in terms of open world design, but with regards to immersion, atmosphere, and compelling gameplay loops. Set in Australia, Forza Horizon 3 brought several features like drone mode while reinforcing the wonder of discovering barn finds, buying new vehicles, partaking in street races, and much more. You could even create custom routes, pair up with friends in co-op adventures, and form a convoy to cruise around the gorgeous world. Forza Horizon 4. So how could Playground Games possibly raise the bar higher? By simply doing a lot more with the winning formula. Forza Horizon 4 revamped its progression system, making every activity rewarding in its own right, while also introducing seasons. Each season has its own unique weather conditions and requires different styles of driving. It also doesn't hurt that shared world events and seasonal races with weekly rewards are on offer to entice players. With a new route creator for creating true custom tracks, tons of cars to unlock, and a generally stellar campaign, Forza Horizon 4 earns its spot as the best Xbox One title to date. And that wraps it up. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos daily. Also, don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out on any of our videos.